showcase and open stage that is being hosted by UTM's new spoken word course that was launched this year in January, first spoken word course ever, I believe, at U of T in general. So the first half of this show is going to be a showcase from this term's course. We just had our big final performance, which is like our finals today, and everybody was fabulous, so you're going to get a little taste of what people cooked up in the course this term. And then then we're going to take a little break, and then in the second half we're going to have our open stage. So we've had some people sign up already, I think with Zoe. If you haven't signed up already, don't worry. When we take the break, if there's anybody else who wants to join in, we'll be able to get your name then. So, as I said, my name is Andrea Thompson. I was the instructor of the course this year. This year as well, the showcase is sponsored by a great student organization called Mending Minds, and this is a UTM student group that is focused on mental health. And so joining me today hosting is the Mending Minds president, Zoe Aruda. Please help me welcome Zoe.
I'm the president of Mending Minds. We are a student club on campus dedicated to the mental well-being of our students. So throughout the year we run de-stressing events, things like crafts, game nights, just social spaces for students to be able to meet and de-stress. And we also are committed towards destigmatizing mental illness. So we are always pushing resources that we have on campus, and so that kind of leads me to today joining us is Denise Alton. So she is a lead counselor at UTM's Health and Counseling Center. So she has offered to speak today a little bit about some of the resources that we have on campus.
Thanks.
Okay, so as Zoe said, I'm Denise. Oh my goodness, I'm Denise.
It's
I'm not used to this at all.
Yeah.
I'm Denise. I'm one of the counselors over at the Health and Counseling Center, so I really appreciate you allowing me to be here and sharing your pizza with me. For those of you who don't know, the Health and Counseling Center is in DV. It's right around the corner, from the bookstore. That's where we're located. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Health and Counseling Center in general, just in case people don't know. We're very much like a family health team style medical clinic, so that means that we have family style physicians for anyone who might not have one that's close by that can kind of see you through your time here at UTM. We have nursing, we have a dietitian on staff, we have access to a psychiatrist through referral through our family physicians. And then we also have a team of personal counselors. That's the team that I'm on right now as well. So in terms of your mental health care, the Health and Counseling Center has a lot that we can offer you. So our physicians provide mental health care, as do our counseling team, which you can access at any time. Here we have appointments that you can call to schedule ahead of time, but we also reserve a number of appointments, actually most of our appointments, for people who are calling in for that same day, because we aim to provide just in time mental health care for students so that we can provide care when you actually need it. So if you wake up one morning and you think today's the day that I want to talk to someone about my mental health, please do give us a call to try and schedule an appointment when you need it. I brought this flyer. Our other aim is to provide students with personalized wellness plans for mental health care. And this really means that we acknowledge that not every person wants to address their mental health by seeing a physician or going to counseling. There's lots of other ways that you can do this, and for some people that could mean accessing more community support or support within your religious organization or something like that. But it might mean that you want some counseling, but just not to do it sitting one-to-one with a person on your campus. So we do have a role called Wellness Navigators. If you know you want to do something to address your mental health, but you have no idea what it is, this person can be incredibly helpful to you to create this plan. So they can help you to find apps, online programs, mental health care programs that exist outside of the university, books that you can read, people that you can talk to, other resources that impact our mental health, like finding financial supports, finding housing supports, all of those things that we know have a big impact on people's mental health. help. If you don't know where to turn, this can be a great resource for you as well. Our aim really is to provide something that suits you and your life, how ready you are to talk about these things and how much time you have to address all of that sort of stuff. So please do reach out to us, even if you know it's not a counselor or a doctor. There's lots of other things that we can do to support you. In terms of how do you get a hold of us, I will leave both of these cards with our contact number on it. You can give us a call to ask any questions that you have or to make an appointment with any of our healthcare providers, but you can also just pop down and talk to us there. Lots of students that I come into contact with feel very anxious or nervous or unsure of what to say when they call to make an appointment for the first time. All you really need to say is, I want to talk to someone about my mental health, I want to make a counseling appointment, and our receptionists are all lovely and friendly, and they will essentially take it from there and ask you all the questions to get the information that they need. When you come for the first time, health card or UTM card, your T card, and you'll be asked to fill out some registration forms, which they will support you in completing, so you don't have to worry about doing any of those things on your own. In addition to those direct care options that we also have a very active health promotion team. So they do things like exam jam, a lot of events that sound similar to what Zoe was describing before, things to manage stress. And then we also have Wellness 101 workshops. Every Wednesday we have like a sort of a wellness-based workshop that have guest speakers coming in. And then the last thing that we have is a peer support program. So you can talk to people about wellness goals. There are other undergraduate students literally walking a mile in your shoes right now, so that can be very helpful as well. Any questions? Anything I can answer for everyone while I'm here? Yeah?
Do you guys also provide like referrals to like counselors outside of like psych ed care?
Yes, we can absolutely do that. So when it comes to finding like a private therapist, we may not necessarily make a referral if one isn't required, but our wellness navigator could sit with you and help you figure out, how do I find someone, like what are my options, how do I use my benefits, what should I say when I call, all of those kinds of things. They could support you in figuring out all of those pieces. Does that answer? Perfect. Any other questions? Yeah.
I just wanted to add, I work as a wellness dem. So wellness dem is a small area in Davis where we have activities every day 12 to 1, and it's a really good place to meet new people, have a good de-stressor activity. We usually have something going on every day, and especially Thursdays. Thursdays is the most, like we had a henna days one time, and a lot of people enjoyed it. So keep an eye out on that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I will leave these cards. Our website is a great resource. We have staff profiles with little avatars and that sort of thing on there. So you're also welcome to look through there if you decide you want counseling and request whatever counselor you want based on your own criteria. That can be another good resource. All of our programs, we also have groups, therapeutic groups that sort of restart every term. All of that will be posted on our Instagram site, which I believe is on this card as well. So please check us out and follow us for what's going on. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We all
Thank you so much for listening. I would also like to welcome to the stage from the English and Drama Student Society, we have Stella, and she will say a few words about their upcoming magazine or publication with
Bunch of other stuff.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Bunch of other stuff. Hi, so yeah, I'm Samaya. I'm from the English Drama Student Society. I'm the events director. So we're hosting a lot of events. I focus mostly on English events. I helped run the spoken word showcase last year with Professor Townsend, which is really awesome. And so I'm part of two clubs actually, EDSS and a new event series, Literature is Alive. So we focus a lot on like English events, like coupled with like sustainability and different like interdisciplinary, courses and streams on campus. So three things actually. So December 7th, we're doing another open mic, but like open mic in arts and crafts. So you get to come, like design your own pencil case, It's like a cute little exam de-stressor afternoon. We're partnering with the art club, so it's a cute little thing. It's gonna be in MN on December 7th from 4 to 6. It's a free event. We're gonna provide catering for you guys. Bring your friends. Like, it's gonna be like a cute, chill little free thing for you guys. And then the two things from EDSS is that since a lot of students from ENG375,
I don't know, a lot of numbers.
the class that you're reading from, it's a great class. So EDSS, we publish a magazine every year with Caffeine and Careful Thought. And so we do different themes every year. I submitted last year. You get to submit any kind of creative work, short stories, fiction, nonfiction, poetry, like series of poetry. So I think it'd be a great opportunity for you guys to submit the poetry that you write in this class to the magazine and have that published in the in our little magazine, and like share it with other students. They do a little party, I'm pretty sure, but when that's gonna happen, I don't know. But like, it's on our Instagram. If you just check out UTM ESS, you'll see our magazine and a lot more details on what the theme is and what you can submit. But the theme is very loose. It's very flexible, so you have a lot of like leeway of what it is you can actually submit under that theme. And then the last thing is that for anyone who wants to submit any academic papers, any academic projects, I'm running a academic research symposium in January with Professor Julia Boyd, with like Literature is Alive. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a big thing. And so the theme is living humanities. So it talks about this broad question of why study humanities, like why study English at the university. And so this question seeks to spark conversation, community, and insight by connecting English and writing with majors and disciplines across the humanities and STEM. So I would say if you want to submit any academic papers, any academic projects, like either with yourself or with a group of people, I think it's a great opportunity to showcase your work. Also, we're going to provide catering, prizes for people who participate. But yeah, all of our information can be found on our Instagram, UTM EDSS, and UTM Literature is Alive. But yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Samaya.
All right, I think we're ready to get into some poetry.
Woohoo!
Before we start, I'm just gonna lay down some, I guess, ground rules. So before your poem, if your poem requires a trigger warning, please do provide that to the audience, just so that in case people will be uncomfortable, they can leave or tune out, do what they need to. And then also, if you hear a line that you really like, you know what you need to do. That's right, you can snap. So, the snap, some people like to stomp, some people even hum. So if you're feeling a line, show some love, because that'll really encourage your performers, and people will just have a better time forever. Alright, and then sacrificial poets. So usually sacrificial poets are reserved for slams, because typically the first performer gets marked or judged a little more harshly. We're not, this isn't a competition, we're just here to share at an open stage. But today I will be introducing Professor Andrea Thompson as our sacrificial poet, as our first performer today. So, would like to welcome her.
Thank you. Zoe's doing a great job. She just kind of got thrown into this hosting role, but she's doing amazing. All right, so yeah, I'm really happy that we got to do this mental health themed event. And you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, what do I want to say about the therapeutic power of writing? And it's hard to even know where to start. You know, I think a lot of people, if you've been to therapy, you have the experience of having one of the first things the therapist tells you is start a journal, write down your feelings. And you know, going through life, especially you're in university, you're studying, you've got all of these balls in the air that you're juggling, there's so much happening in the world. You know, having a place to take all the things, all the thoughts that are rumbling in your brain, and all the feelings that are rumbling around in your heart, and have a way to get it out of your body, I think is a really important thing. And is a real powerful way to be able to do that. I've found it in my own experience, and I think the people in our class too have found it to be really a transformative art form. So I want to speak a little bit about that, and I want to share a poem that talks about that. And it actually was, I wrote it as a writing exercise. And I was doing a lot of teaching. It was during the pandemic, and I was teaching, and I was doing online teaching. And we had this kind of, internet field trip to another workshop where another facilitator was running a writing workshop, and she offered a prompt, and it was a quote by a French artist named George Braque. And the quote was, "Art is a wound turned to light." And the timer was set, and off we went to write on it. And I just found that because I'd been working so much but not writing, I had this avalanche of thoughts and feelings that came out, and it just reminded me about the power of writing, the cathartic power of writing, and how it's so important. I hadn't done it in so long, so this is the poem that came from that exercise. Wound turned to light. The light of witnessing existence makes everything beautiful again. Brings rebirth to those disowned parts of self, those shattered fragments the world deems unworthy. Those darkened days and tired nights of soul-deep weariness become refreshed through the act of simply witnessing what it is to be ourselves, unabashed and naked, living on this crushed ball of stardust, what it is to be us, hurtling through the universe, bouncing up against each other like ideological pinballs, at a time when the polarity of this planet has sent so many of us off on our own diametrical trajectory away from the core, when the weight of interpersonal animosity has become crippling, when the term respectfully disagree is about to become extinct. In this moment, I bow down and thank God for bestowing all of us with the gift of creativity, for endowing all humans with a life-giving method of release. A release to the pressures of simply existing, a way to translate pain into beauty, a way to open up the valve on it all and begin to let off steam. What a gift it is to be given this moment, to be invited to express all the colors of this jagged emotional palette without judgment, and simply say, yes, oh, thank you. There's more. Yes to the raw red of rage. Yes to the red of, yes. Yes to the raw red of rage. Yes to the yellow of hope. Yes to the bruised hearted blues. Yes to unfathomable purple. Amen to it all. Okay, so that's my poem. Next up on our showcase, on our fantastic, fabulous, thank you for coming, class showcase, please help me welcome Zoe Aruda.
Inside of every fig there is a wasp. And I found that after performing this a few times, not a lot of people know that figs and wasps have a symbiotic relationship with one another. So the wasp pollinates the fig, and in return the fig is a safe place for the wasp to lay its eggs. And any eggs that kind of don't make it, the fig ends up totally digesting. And so it's kind of totally consumed by the fruit. And I thought that that was fascinating, and so I wrote a poem kind of about that. There is a lady around the corner who speaks in a tongue without any future tense, and sells fresh fruits washed with seawater and grief. I cannot ever eat enough of them. The skins, the seeds, the flesh become light that digs into the dips of my lips, my neck, my chest. It spells. The heart is the wasp within the fig, with the inertia of the act of wanting. I gouge out every moment of my life like pomegranate seeds, like mad, like devotion, like, is this enough for me yet? What do you do with the red sun-sized mouths in your stomach? I ask the lady this, and so she replies. The white hot star runs towards the horizon. The world is ending, and this keeps you full. Her voice and honey and pearls flood all the same flood, until the sea pulses oppressive against my chest and breathes bright heat into my lungs. The water spits me out, and I watch a tiny child on shore, eating an orange with ruby-scraped knees smiling. All the people I've loved were once small enough to fit in the crook of my arms. They still do. The child holds the sun in the palm of their hands, walks towards me, and offers me a piece. So on deck right now we have Abby, and up on stage now we have Tishika. Welcome to the stage.
Hi guys, I am Tishika, most of you know me, and I'm gonna perform a poem called Wonderland or Prison. There's a trigger warning about mental health and addiction, kind of stuff like that. Okay, I'm just gonna start. Lost in my mind, popping with triggering thoughts, I heat up my pink heart-shaped bomb. The silky white smoke turns my shatter to oil. I take a long drag for the morning I just had. The green mixes with the red as my life turns into a movie. Savoring these precious thoughts from THC. Numb from this dangerous place called Earth, I float away into my mind. I start to feel flashes of mental agony. As I view my life as a movie from my body, I enter my mind's prison. Ding dong. Attention. Chimes in the theme park crew. Welcome to the wacky wonderland. Where would you like to start? The roller coaster or the carousel? Oh, like it matters. How silly of me. The theme park crew snapped and strapped me in, with imprints of human teeth as the design for my buckle. My mind screams at me to escape. The crew checks in to see if I'm trapped in. It's for your safety, they say, with dollar bills glowing in their eyes. Admitted into the character carousel, my mind spins out of control with all the self-hatred thoughts. My anxiety-ridden body feels like it's covered in lava. The carousel never stops spinning, but I try to break the cycle, tiptoeing to the edge to catch my leap of faith, marveling the bewitching and peaceful view. Swish. Once again. The earth around me crumbles and I fall, but what a view it was. Savoring the feelings of peace as I crash land into the Ferris wheel, I vision my late grandmother on the Ferris wheel. She consoles me, revives my soul, and evaporates. So I move on. I enter the lazy river. As I float, I think of different possibilities life has to offer. With my energized spirit, I leave this theme park back to the reality I go to change my destiny.
So up on stage now we have Abby, and on deck we have Catherine.
Your lights are really bright. Hi everyone, my name's Abida, and today I will be performing a piece called Faith. Iman, the Arabic word for faith, a value that has been instilled in me since since my birth. It is one of the 5 pillars of my beliefs, living in my core, and to me, its power goes further than simply being a word. Faith. Faith that my date tree will grow, just like the one I saw in my friend's backyard when I was a child. I remember every Ramadan breaking my fast with this nourishing fruit mentioned in the Quran, with grapes, figs, pomegranates, and my favorite, olives. I remember sitting with my family around the dinner table as they shared the history of my ancestors. My date tree was originally nurtured by the love and care of the old, standing still and innocently in its ancient home despite the constant progression and destruction of the world. Faith. Faith that it will continue to live. It waits quietly in its desolate and barren land, patiently and peacefully waiting for the droplets of rain, the liberation that will nourish its veins. Faith. Faith that the dates on its bare branches will grow. Their shriveled and disheveled state should not be something that its saplings also know. Their branches reach out to the sky, begging for the clouds to hear their cry, waiting for the release of the waterfall. Faith. Faith that the tree will be strong as it watches the river flow by in vain, always forgiving it and praying that some trickles from it will reach the tree's roots and relieve its pain. Faith. Faith in a day that its palm leaves will stop falling dryly to the ground, for a normal day when the date tree's grove will no longer slowly die from the lack of attention it receives from its passersby. Shoes crunching over the decaying leaves without a glance, ignorantly littering its sandy grounds with a plastic water bottle. An encapsulated droplet taunting the tree with a cruel and sickening smile. Faith. Faith that when the wind passes through its branches, the people will hear the tree's sighs as it sacrifices its palm for the birth of its saplings. The tree is cold from the constant destruction of its bark. It waits for a day when their dates will grow abundantly, and the people will share its sweet, juicy fruit with each other as they joyously share their family stories. Faith. Faith that I can learn a lesson from my date tree. I watch as it fights to stand upright and strong, trying not to wilt under the burning stare of the sun all day long. My tree is as strong as the sky is blue. When I cry out helpless, reaching to the sky, I have faith that my words and prayers are heard, that everything happens for a reason, and ultimately everything will be fine. Because things happen for the better. 94:6 says, with hardship comes ease. Sometimes blessings in disguise. Good things may happen, yet we may never realize. Because in 286, God says he does not burden a soul with more than it can bear. And so I put my faith in the fact that my trials will pass and my tests will make me stronger. Just like my date tree. My ruh wraps itself around my iman. My soul intertwines itself in its blanket of faith. My iman runs in my blood and through my veins. It makes up who I am, reminding me that I am strong as I face myself every day. I have so much faith that all my struggles will work out. So much faith that I wear the word around my neck all day. A matching pendant with my mom that I touch whenever I am in pain. I touch my iman whenever I am lonely, because it reminds me that I have the whole universe with me. A reminder that every step I take towards my faith, God runs towards me to protect me with his warm embrace. My faith connects me with those I love. It gives me strength and courage to be myself. It is a part of me, just like my date tree's roots, providing me with determination and life, and it reminds me every second that at the end of the day, everything will be okay. Thank you.
Next we have Catherine, and on deck we have Lauren.
So I'm Catherine. I guess slight trigger warning. It's like kind of mental health. Obviously not the good stuff. But okay, cool. Is it okay to breathe? Not just
breathe, but to take a breath so deep it might steal yours. A breath so deep the dead may shiver with envy at all the air they can't take anymore. Can I take it all? Is it okay to smile? Not just smile, but to smile with the innocence of a baby, realizing for the first time they actually exist. Do I need a reason to smile? Is it okay that I have none? Is it okay to feel? Not just feel with my heart, but can I feel the grass on my bare feet? Can I lay under the sun rays and fall asleep under its warmth? Is that allowed? Can I stay in bed on days that just feel too hard to exist? Can I lay under the covers? Can I sweep my problems like dust and store them under my pillow and deal with them when I feel that I can? Can I stay quiet? Sometimes I just like listening because other people's voices are much more beautiful than my own. Can I just listen? It's not that I hate my voice, it's just I hate that I can't speak fluidly. You see, it's the bilingual in me. I speak Spanish and English, and both are fighting for dominance in my brain, each one chipping away at the other until I am speaking shattered sentences. Can I just love myself? I can't speak fluidly, and I smile for no reason. Sometimes it's hard to breathe, it's the asthma or the anxiety, but can I love that about myself? Can I like that I eat my chicken nuggets by peeling them first and only dipping the meat in the sauce because the skin tastes better on its own and the meat tastes better in sweet and sour? Maybe I'm pretending I'm ripping off my own skin and dipping myself into something that makes me more digestible for other people, but can I be real? Can I tell you that I am emotional? That some days I don't feel like trying, that I am on a platform waiting for happiness to arrive, debating whether to jump off the edge, or maybe it will take too long, or zip right past, but can I stand right here? Right on the yellow lines, can I wait? Because even though I don't want to be here, I do. And even though I don't want to talk, I do. And even though I don't want to be known, I do. Is it okay that I'm still figuring out who I am? My life feels like it's unraveling at the seams, and I'm clinging onto the threads and sewing it back up like a madman in an avalanche. I'm trying to stop the disaster, but when my hands feel calloused and pinpricked, can I set it aside and try again on another day at another time? Because it turns out I am human, and I bleed red, warm blood, and I feel pain. Hot, sharp pain. I hurt. Isn't that wonderful that I have the capacity to feel pain, that I choose to let pain into my home, and I choose to let him run rampant and restructure as he pleases, because hurt needs to pass through like a hurricane to make room for when happiness arrives. And though her stay may be short, she will make a museum out of my home. She will make music out of my bones. She will lay me on a broken bed in a room with crumbling walls and offer me a peace sleep has never given me. I have learned life isn't perfect. My life isn't perfect. But I feel hate, but I also feel love, and understanding may come slowly to me, but it will get here. So, is it okay if I breathe? Is it okay if I stay? Is it okay to fall in love with being human again? It's okay if you don't say anything. I think I'm gonna do it anyways.
And on deck we have Daniela. I was not prepared to intro that.
Can you hear, Zach? Can you hear?
I don't know if the phone can hear.
Louder.
A little bit.
We live within the boundaries of the painted sidewalks. Surrounding the villages less than a kilometer long, we thrive in the city areas designated for contained expression. There it is. Two words not often associated: contained and expression. Seems fitting though, doesn't it? Freedom to do, but not freedom to be. We live within the laws created by those who don't know, who will never know because not once have they bothered to ask. They have all of these notions, these bypassed emotions, these statistics of our characteristics created by those who do not live it. The queer slanders that cloud their mind like carcinogenic smoke billowing in their bigoted brains. These straight-laced opinions of who has the right to love who. In 1939, the idea of Oz became a lifeline. Judy breathed life into Dorothy, and Dorothy and her technicolored world breathed life into an era. Her rainbow paints our pride, and it was in the year that she died that friends of Dorothy stood outside of that Stonewall Inn and they said enough. They wore their voices raw, screaming their societally deemed sins to the sky. It was a time of liberation, of solidarity, of power, of pride. 4 years later, they announced homosexuality not a mental illness. Another 15 years before it's actually removed from the DSM. Sexual orientation disturbance. That's what it was called. That was the stance. The perspective on and the perspective of speak two very different dialects, making it hard for either to understand. 40 years after same-sex marriage is legalized because the US finally realized that the people who they had so harshly chastised are just that, people. 10 years later brings us to now, but where is the progression? All I see is suppression and newsreels of aggression, the same patterns being repeated, the same rights being gained, taken away. Don't say gay, okay? Then what should I say? Because your restrictions don't erase us, maybe displace us, but you underestimate our resilience. You underestimate the idea of resistance. You underestimate us. You who make the laws and subsequently take them away. They rioted in '69 and we riot for them today, for St. Marcia and Harvey Milk, for every queer person whose life was taken by another hand or whose own because their identity had been banned. Why is it sexuality we want to juxtapose? Why do we craft society like a game of dominoes, always lining up nose to nose for judgment? We knock each other down just for the sake of watching the fall. We are an us. You are a you. You could be an us, but you refuse. We would welcome you. Why? Such an exhausted question. Such an exhaustive question. These words are not a portrait of hatred or anger. The blame is directed in ambiguity on purpose. We need to call in, not call out. We have no targets, only victims, a symptom of a system that perpetuates expressive aggression. Now I say, try to dim the lights. It won't work. We exist in our own bioluminescent spotlight, asking for basic human rights because we exist, and we persist, and we will continue to resist because that's just who we are, and that's what we've always known.
So up on stage now we have Daniela, and on deck we have Casey.
I was called a mulatto today, and the man bid me take no offense because to him, that's what I am and what I'll always be. I didn't realize that people still said that word when referring to people like me. But then again, when people still refer to people like my mother as a nig. A man called me a mulatto today. In my own house, I was called a word whose identity is grounded in the social, economic, and political consequences of colonialism, slavery, and segregation. But no, I shouldn't be offended by being called such a word that was used to refer to people as livestock, as less than livestock. I am not a cow, or a sheep, or a pig. I am not a hybrid, or a mutt, or a product of genetic experimentation, and I am not offended by being called such a word. Because I have skin so thick from generations of prejudice, I have ancestors so strong and mighty from battles, and I have cultures so rich from different parts of the world that only a mulatto like me would understand what it's like to be from two different places simultaneously at once. Only a mulatto like me would understand what it's like to grow up not enough of one culture and not enough of the other, and what it's like to grow up too much of one culture and too much of the other. Only a mulatto like me would understand why I'm a no sabo kid and that me no care what other people have to say about it. Have you been told the oral tradition of hate? Has hate been passed down from generation to generation? If insults formed in your alphabet soup, would you just eat them? Then vomit them out on the backs of those different than you? Chunks of hate weighing them down, the smell so sickening it burns into their minds forever? A smell they'll never forget, no matter how long ago it was? Were slurs whispered between the lines of hymns, and prejudiced comments hidden between the lines of your diary, between how cute that boy is and how annoying your teacher is? I'm scared of black people. They're so violent. You can't trust Hispanics. They're all illegal aliens and job thieves. Black people are dirty. Hispanics are poor. Black people are gangsters. Hispanics are gangsters. Black people rob stores. Hispanics are drug dealers. You are mulatto. You see the blood on your hands as holy water, so you believe you've done nothing. You say you're only saying it how it is and not to be offended, so you know I should be offended. You believe your fake apology wipes away history, but your words only unshackle me so I can run free inside the cage you built for me. Freedom tastes like iron, and it's heavy like the ball and chain around my ankle. Freedom tastes bitter, like the spray you used on the faces of my people. Freedom is the shadow of bars I mistaken for the shadows of palm trees on my romantic long walks on the beach. This freedom is what you sold me, like you sold me in history. You think all is forgiven. But I ask you, how could you expect me not to react when you call me this word? How could you expect me not to be an angry black woman when you call me this word? How could you expect me not to be an explosive Latino when you call me this word? How could you know this word if you never heard it before? A description so specific, yet applied to many. But don't get me wrong. I can see that you were told the oral tradition of hate. And I don't blame you for being fed that spoiled alphabet soup. But I blame you for choosing to vomit those words back at me, knowing what it means. So let's end this passing of the oral tradition of hate. Because I'm the mole in your perfect, pure society. And as long as I'm alive, I will always be the mole in your perfect, pure society. Because like you said, I'm a mulatto.
Hi, my name is Casey, and today my poem is going to be Plastic Dreams. So just a trigger warning, this deals with self-image and body image. So if you're uncomfortable, then you can wait outside then. And also if you are a fan of Barbie, then trigger warning, you may not like this. So. In a world of plastic dreams, she reigns supreme. 5'9" with a body that's unlike anything you've ever seen. Barbie with her flawless facade, or so it seems. A plastic princess in a plastic land, a symbol of perfection, constructed by human hand. With the weight of expectations so unrealistic and cruel, dividing our society and imposing all kinds of rules to be perfect in every way, inside and out. Distressing, exhausting, self-doubting, we no longer become people. We are ghosts and shells of our former selves. Barbie, oh Barbie, with your waist so tiny, you set a standard that's far from what we call reality. Your proportions, so unattainable and extreme. A dream world devised to demolish the real. Generations conditioned, we become trained to change every single imperfection on my head, my hair, eyes, white eyes, or lips, teeth, and skin. Companies profiting off of my smallest insecurities. When I look in the mirror, I question what I see. What a thought to think I was only at the age of 13. Scared to enter a world where I am continuously judged by both the things I am and not, you begin to wonder, when you get older, if it was even worth it all in the end. We're told to be thin, but not too much show, to be curvy, but not let our bodies show, and to have long flowing hair, and not to mention perfect skin. It's like running a race that you never can win. I cannot imagine what would happen if I don't measure or fit. It's like a punishment, a prison for women who don't follow the laws set in. But we're not plastic dolls. We're flesh and bone with hearts that beat and minds that are meant to grow. We're unique, we're real with flaws and grace that make up who we are. We're not something showcased. We'll shatter the name Barbie, make a name for ourselves, for beauty comes from within, right? Or do you call it something else? So Barbie, it's time to take a step aside. Must be hard to fake perfection, living this lie. We will no longer be confined by your plastic ideals, for in our authenticity, we're strong. No fear. We'll break the mirror that caused the queen to go after Snow White. We'll stop who controls and manipulates the minds of every person. No limits defined. Anything is possible. In the real world, that's a lie. Thank you.
Alright, so on stage now we have Kushmar, and on deck we have Kiara.
Okay, this piece is called Seeds to Flowers, Flowers to Fruits. And trigger warning, it's about like genocide and war, specifically South Sudanese genocide. There are seeds underground, watered by a vicious rainfall of bullets. Seeds that break through the earth like grenades and grow into saplings. Saplings that huddle into their homes and sing prayers, hoping they've mistaken gunshots and bombing for thunder. Thunder that wipes out generations of saplings under the guise of peace. In refugee camps, the seeds bumble about the flowers they grew up with before being trampled by boulders of violence under a midnight sky. The seeds dream of a life of vibrant fireworks instead of blinding bombs, where the only popping they hear is the sound of popcorn on a summer evening. The seeds scramble to get put on priority lists, sending them away from their newly scorched land, to unfamiliar places like Norway, or Perth, or Oklahoma, or Cuba, even a place called Canada. Far away from family, but even further away from death. The Blue Nile and the Nuba Hills were once a garden of vitality, a meadow of innocent familial companionship before a fog of warfare and a mist of massacre blanketed the garden. And my parents won't speak about their murdered neighbors, or my grandpa who was shot in his home less than a decade ago, or the enemy soldiers who burned that same home in an orange glow, encasing my grandfather like a coffin, scorching the final remnants of my mother's childhood with him. But my parents escaped 20 years ago. They don't speak about the fear and discomfort. No, they wouldn't dare. My older siblings don't remember. I wasn't even there because I was born in November in warm Canadian air.
And I can't help but feel guilty for my relatives who had to stay, who have to live their lives as battlefields prey, as I remain a seed meant for South Sudanese summers, instead bustling through Arctic snowflake flutters. But I feel even worse when I notice a disconnect from these relatives I've never seen or met, because it's hard to feel connected through a pixelated screen, and I try my best to comprehend, but I'll never truly know what they mean, because my parents were seeds torn from their environment, and I am the flower that will never truly share their enlightenment. Sometimes, I reluctantly answer a phone call from across the equator, and I'm overwhelmed with my relatives' quick quips in our native tongue, that I'm met with a barrage of laughter at my linguistic incompetence. And I can't explain that I can understand a language that I can't speak, and my parents let that happen because they didn't want us to face Canadian critiques. And now my native tongue falters down an avalanche of snowy assimilation, buried under icefall that won't be recovered through simple conversation. But we're safe now, an even exchange, refuge without culture, life without heritage. Sometimes I feel selfish because I complain about not being able to speak my native language, while my cousins sit in cramped refugee camps languid, all because of warfare that was never actually necessary. Yet year after year, in country after country, there are silent wars fought by people crying to live free. But no one cares to listen, until that final voice becomes a haunting hum of the past. And when the dust settles over the fruit birthed by the seeds of genocide, watered by a cascade of bullets, the fruit's broken roots become destitute as it tries to salvage a fractured garden.
My name is Kiara, and my poem is called Facing Myself. Facing myself will begin with an apology, written, sincerely dedicated to me. No preface, no abstract, just straight to the point, straight to the root. Curing the rot at the root is how you solve it. For anxiously attaching pieces of their personalities to create my own, visualizing their beauty as a veil, concealing my identity, I have to redefine my flaws as a beautiful mastery. The brown scar carved into my skin representing a journey, reaching its finale. Facing myself, a task easier said than done. Detaching from my own presence was a safe escape. The memories attached began to drift away. Rejecting myself as a common space. Accepting myself as a foreign place held in captivity by my own negativity, illuminated through my infatuation with toxicity. The idea of sharing myself with my own love doesn't excite me. My mother never inviting me to receive the love I effortlessly gave up was something that never sat right with me. I was never the prize, only the surprise that was never expected. Facing myself would mean embracing myself. Greeting the mirror with a smile on my face rather than unpleasant distaste. Admiration engulfing condemnation, my eyes no longer despising the reflection staring at me. Analyzing every feature on my face, labeling each mistake, every blemish embracing discouragement, allowing holy affirmations to take hold of me while pessimism loses control of me. The duality of my mind is frightening. One day I'm excited, the next day it feels like I'm dying. Loneliness always comforts me though. When I get home, depression greets me with a smile, comforting me while I tell her what went on in my day. Happiness isn't always too fond of me. I am fond of her. Joy knows I'm jealous of her. Uncertainty and I never go a day without speaking to each other. Peace knows the deal. I'm not hers, she's not mine. I still adore her though. Procrastination comes around from time to time, never passing me by, tempting me to run back like I always do. My letter of apology, dedicated to my younger self, realizing why she never accepted help. Her innocent smile, magnetic laugh held so much fear, but she didn't dare shed a tear. She held on too close to hope and became vulnerable, creating room for a bed of lies to take over her mind, invading her dreams with false realities tied to issues with her low self-esteem. My confliction with my addiction became a contradiction, knowing how to go right, but always steering left. I try and try again, but every time it's just a failed attempt. I get so tense trying to defend a cycle that will never end. My conscience never missing the chance to chastise me. Being young was never an excuse, because I always had God guiding me through. He never left his daughter, even when her worldly father forgot about her. Some say transparency breeds tranquility. I say it's a fiend for vulnerability. Trying to elucidate my pain only invited discomfort, so I became acquainted with secrecy. I was sentenced to silence, but I began to like it. A view of my mind will surprise others. It gets frightening if you stare too long. My trauma doesn't define me. My path isn't clear and smooth, but I do believe I have the ability to achieve my destiny.
Thank you, Rachel. And on deck we have Jared.
Hi guys, I made a few changes to this poem just like a second ago, so please bear with me. There's no trigger warning or anything. Brain, I'm disappointed in you. Specifically, in the way you're treating me as if I'm a teenager's bedroom, one to please league and doesn't touch grass. I do not want to be a 40-year-old woman analyzing an art painting in a museum. I want to be a 10-year-old kid in a math class bored and making fun of the teacher's short skirts. Can you just relax? Unwind? I need a minute. From the constant spiraling down an unending rabbit hole, the constant calculations of random equations, overthinking and having mental preparation for a 5-minute conversation because you're bored. Sorry I'm not that interesting for you. Brain, you're running so fast my words cannot keep up with you. I keep on mumbling and under-enunciating because you just don't feel like slowing down. You make a fool out of me. You make me as though I'm an illiterate piece of shit because you're using words like fuck, fuckity, fuck, sentences such fuck you fucking fuck, taking shortcuts instead of letting the things through while it's really your Formula 1 driver in a kid zone area. You're messing up my words and say sentences like the mouse battery. What? Like, because again, what the fuck did I just say? Again, stop taking shortcuts. It is easier to understand the Jacobian equation proof than to have a conversation with you. I feel like you're that train of thought, like Ron and Harry. I'm following you. Yes, I can see you, but then I get right into a whomping willow and say, I barely made it in one piece, right? But then you're telling a story with 5 new characters, 4 unrelated conversations, 3 mental breakdowns, 2 stories within the story, and 1 delusional me. Brain, slow the fuck down.
Hi. I don't have a title for this piece. Professor Thompson just forced me to perform. Hi, my name is Jared. No, I am not 19. I turned 20 in September, and I know how to read, but I just don't like doing it. I don't work at Subway, but I enjoy eating their sandwiches, especially from the IB building. I'm 5'5", but with shoes, I'm basically 5'7". I'm in my 3rd year now, but I feel so behind, I may as well be in my 2nd, and I'm pretty slow. I had it put together that there was no way one man with 9 reindeers should go to every home, drop off presents, eat cookies, and drink milk without making a single noise until I was 11. I like driving with my left leg up, and I like eating with my hands, but not just pizzas, or burgers, or french fries, but like rice and spam, and I like climbing rocks, like bouldering, if you want to get technical. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. I like to hide away my body behind baggy sweaters and jeans, but I gain confidence when I put my lemons on and match it with a clean white tee. I hide away my hair because it's too straight, and I've got a big forehead. I can have bubble tea at any time of the day, but don't ask me to work there. I don't have the patience to deal with customers like me. I walk in with 6 different large drinks written down, 1 with less ice, 1 with more sugar, or classic milk tea, or regular green tea, but the best ones always get A large mango smoothie with tapioca, obviously. Honestly, think my family helps Coco stay running with how many times we order from them in a week. I like it when my breath becomes something I can see. Makes me feel like the things that come out of my mouth are finally important, like even if I scream, you don't need to hear it, you can see it. I like when the beach encaptures my feet, the way the water carries and buries the sand, it puts me at ease, but I hit the mouthful of salt my eyes have to eat when I dunk my head into the water. I love stickers. I've got stacks of them, but I don't put them on just anything. I'm too scared to put it somewhere than regret putting it there. That's why until I find something that's worthy enough to put it on, I keep it hidden away, awaiting the perfect one. And maybe that's why I'm scared to fall in love. I'm scared to give people parts of me to keep and share, to see like a shooting star and to stop and stare. I'm scared that someone will take a part of me that I can never repair. Another sticker gone, one that I don't have a spare of. Because once you place me down and damage me, I guarantee you will never get the whole me back. You can try and peel me off and hoping to keep me intact, but parts of me will linger, constantly reminding you of what you decided to slash. I love word puzzles, even though I'm not good at them. My brain is like a 2011 MacBook Pro with 50 different tabs open, and maybe that's why I'm so slow. I don't drink coffee. I think it's a placebo effect, because who needs coffee when my ADHD and anxiety deny me my sleep? I love music. You'll always see me with my AirPods in. My top artist this year was Daniel Caesar. His concert was super mid though. I like to scream Olivia Rodrigo in the car or in the shower. I enjoy striking the keys of my piano with pure anger. I love tugging at the strings, wearing my emotions on fretboards, but I would never volunteer to show my talent my Filipino genes gave to me. Hi, my name is Jared Rafael Canlapin. I'd like to think that I'm funny, fashionable, and fearless. But in reality, I know that I'm soft, stubborn, and shy. I have a hard time making friends, so if you see me in the hallways, shoot me a wave or even say hi. But I can't promise I won't make the conversation awkward, because that's just me. Thank you.
This piece is called Turning Blue. I was never supposed to exist, and it always seemed like luck or fate or chance all might have taken some kind of stance in my existence. My grandparents, a diplomat and a nurse, surviving World War II, traveled to an orphanage in Athens, Greece, to adopt a son. But when the time came to cross the T's and dot the I's, my mother screamed from the bassinet side. My grandmother lifted her up and sang, "Hush, little darling, don't you cry. Mama's gonna sing you a lullaby. And when that lullaby is through, Mama's gonna stay right next to you." So Grandma couldn't say goodbye, and Grandpa signed for two. Mom never talked about the adoption, was livid when Dad suggested to seek the biology of her ancestry, that she might later regret being so upset, not getting past underlining assumptions, prejudices to her biological parents, who could have been children, or destitute, or died. She'd cry, "I have a mother," or "My parents are my parents." And I'd never seen her so angry as the suggestion to such a betrayal of the parents who adopted and raised and chose her. Sometimes I picture my potential people, uncles, aunts, cousins, imagine our variant existing family, and wonder how deeply I could identify being authenticated by the temperament of a bloodline alibi. Was there something in the soil that created our particular line of ancestry that predestines the nature of our personality? Alexander the Great, Homer, the epic poet, Hippocrates, the physician, Apollonius, the geometer and astronomer, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, the biggest philosophers of antiquity, Archimedes, the greatest mathematician, engineer, inventor of the ancient world. I'm exhausted just thinking about that level of intellect where reach for the sky is an underperforming in that sect. I can only imagine the shame they'd ostracize. What kind of Greek can't memorize? Because I don't think in a straight line. My mind is ever propelled forward in that Apollonius epicycle,
of varying speed and motion and direction, of mercurial mood, I'll always ever be stuck in this time loop philosophy. The Ouroboros is me. My own tail, I ate. Infinity is just a symbol turned sideways into the number 8. When I was born and adorned, half human, half horse, never been able to chart that wildly cyclical course of Sagittarius, the constellation that contains the most stars holding the most planets in its orbit than all the rest of the 12 zodiac disciples can attest. If I only knew more of what came before, I'd consult that crystal ball to forewarning future of any evils or dangers I'd see from my maternal medical history, and perhaps give myself a chance to live by expecting any onset of what I'd foresee, seeking treatments of chronic illness with a mapped out preliminary recovery. The one thing I know for certain, derived from my mystery heritage, was that I was cursed with an ailment, a lifelong freak gene our family doctor named a mutant genetic. Extremely rare, derived from the coastal lines of Greece, in a land where no matter how little salt consumed, we were beyond repair. The salty waters of the Mediterranean Sea, we were overseasoned apparently. Maybe I could just come to terms with being a mutant if only there was a special school and institution of solution that could harness my convolution into a powerful ability by a mentor who taught me to see all the potential my kind of different could be. Part of a community who face the same uphill struggles, carry and support each other through shared battles, a team like the Avengers who unite their strength as heroes, protecting the galaxy. Problem is, I don't fit into that one-size-fits-all ideology or have my grandfather's diplomacy. I find I'm more aligned with an anti-hero, the Odin son, Loki Laufey's son, who learned later in life he was left on a frozen rock to die by his frost giant father, who was only saved and adopted for the purpose of playing a pawn in a grander scheme, ever truly never belonging to that forever home, that regime, where no matter his strengths, they'd never land him the throne. Because his ancestors, his bloodline, were labeled the enemy, because his skin turned blue when he got angry, and the frost giant blood that coiled and boiled throughout his raging veins couldn't help but surface when he was truly and fully himself. Whenever my mother's blood turns blue, Grandmother Odin would overcompensate for an assumed underlying insecurity of not being wanted, insinuating something akin from under her skin needed that extra attention. When I turned blue, I walked to the Salvation Army and wandered its aisles, inspecting the relics of the dead, connecting, collecting, adopting a sense of self from what's donated to the shelf. A purchased painted portrait of a pensive sea captain hung in my empty family room next to the broken cuckoo clock that always sings and never keeps time. I've adopted him as mine. Every night, in my single armchair, I visit opposite his wall with a broken magic 8-ball and give voice to his grandfatherly wisdom and ask if I'll always be pondering to the cosmos and wondering something that no one can ever know. The problem is, no matter how hard I shake, it says it is decidedly so.
Thank you, Leah. Okay, so we're just about to take a break here. I just want to take a moment to invite everybody during the break. If you're hungry, it's dinner time, we have pizza. I want to thank the Department of English and Drama for the pizza that we have, and also for supporting this event and supporting this course. So this is the second time the spoken word course has run. The first spoken word course at the University of Toronto. Hooray for that, eh? And the department has been really, really wonderful. I also want to thank Dr. Julia Boyd for all of her support. She supported this event and has helped us get the word out And please go and check out the Literature is Alive event. So thank you, Julia, for all your support. And I rushed up here because I wanted to just personally thank all of the students of the spoken word class for coming out. Weren't they amazing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's give them a little love. And I just want to say, you know, like, not only did you work your butts off all term, but you opened your heart and you went out of your comfort zone and you pushed yourself. So I want to say thank you, I want to say congratulations, and I want to say keep speaking out. It was beautiful. Thank you. 10-minute break if you want, and after, when we come back, we'll have the open stage. If you want to sign up for the open stage, come and see me or Zoe, who's got the list there, and we would love to hear what you have to share as well. So we'll see you back at 6 o'clock or so.